At the beginning of the movie, we see a coastal area where a young boy named David is gazing at the moon through his telescope. The scene shifts back to the moon, whose bright light shines down directly onto the earth. The dolphins in the sea start making sounds as the moonlight reaches the water. The scene changes to reveal a very old, mysterious area of the ocean, filled with rocks that appear quite eerie. The scene then cuts to a retirement home where three elderly men named Ben, Arthur, and Joe are arriving with their wives, having just picked up groceries. They enter the home, chatting cheerfully with each other. This old-age home is filled with residents. Some can't walk, others appear sad, while some look quite happy. The camera focuses on one elderly man lying in bed who hands them a book, saying, "Here's the book you asked for. Enjoy." The three men joke around, talking as if they were still young. Then, in one room, another elderly man struggles to breathe as doctors and nurses work hard to stabilize him, and this scene upsets Ben, Arthur, and Joe. Next, we see the three men leaving the retirement home, conversing. One of them mentions that he could end up like the sick man they just saw, but Ben shrugs it off, saying, "Who's afraid of that? We should enjoy life while we're here." They then slip through a gate, seemingly heading somewhere in secret, to a deserted resort near their home. There's no one around and no security, but there is an indoor pool, and every day the three of them sneak in to swim and enjoy the water. The scene then introduces Jack, the owner of a boat, who gets into an argument with a customer who complains and leaves. Soon, Jack meets two new clients, Walter and Katie, who inform him they need his boat for 27 days. Jack is surprised, but agrees, adding that they can use the boat freely, including for scuba diving since he has all the needed equipment. Walter emphasizes they'll need the boat for 27 days and that Jack must take them wherever they want to go, to which Jack agrees, sealing the deal. Back at the retirement home, Ben, Arthur, and Joe are having fun when Ben's grandson, David, the boy who was looking at the moon, arrives. Ben asks why he's come, and David tells him he knows where the three sneak off to and insists on joining them. Ben agrees but tells David to keep it a secret, and they set off together. When they arrive at the resort, they notice a group of tourists inspecting the property, discussing a potential rental. A lady with the group asks if they need anyone to maintain the pool, but Walter quickly declines, saying privacy is their priority. Ben, Arthur, and Joe feel uneasy about this, realizing it may affect their secret swims. The next day, we see Walter's team on the boat as he shows Jack a map, pointing out their destination, which Jack agrees to take them to. Meanwhile, Ben is at the doctor's office, where he's told his eyesight is worsening with age. Frustrated, Ben heads out, unwilling to accept this reality. Meanwhile, Jack takes Walter and his team to a spot where they jump into the water. They begin to pull strange rocks out of the ocean floor, packing them onto the boat. Jack, curious, asks what they're doing, but they tell him it's a secret. Unbeknownst to them, Ben, Arthur, and Joe are watching through binoculars from afar, puzzled by the strange rocks being hauled onto the boat. Joe insists something suspicious is going on, but Ben brushes it off as mere research. Joe, however, remains curious. The following day, when the tourists are away, the three friends sneak back to the resort pool, finding it now filled with these unusual rocks. They inspect them curiously, but, unable to understand what they are, decide to hurry up and swim. Once in the water, they start feeling something unusual, like a surge of new energy. They can't pinpoint what's happening, but sense they're rejuvenated. As they leave, Joe remarks that he feels young again. Ben teases him, but Joe insists it's true. Back at the retirement home, they continue to experience renewed vigor. Joey even surprises his wife with a lullaby. Arthur proposes to his wife, and Ben enjoys a new spark of romance. Next morning, Ben's wife remarks that he's acting unusually youthful. Eager to repeat the experience, the trio sneaks back to the resort pool, where they now recognize the water as the source of their newfound vitality. For a few days, Jack keeps observing strange activities by the tourist team, but the storage team remains unaware. On the boat, he finds a mysterious device, initially mistaking it for a music player. Curious, he presses a button, triggering sounds that resemble a cake falling, which unsettles him. Suddenly, a dolphin emerges from the sea, making strange noises, and Jack assumes the sounds came from the dolphin, not the device. Intrigued by what the tourists have been retrieving from the sea, Jack goes to inspect a package, but is interrupted by Caddy. She asks what he's doing, and he admits he's been curious about the large items they're constantly bringing back. Caddy, after some persuasion, reveals that they're collecting giant shells, which are highly valuable, leaving Jack in awe. During this exchange, Jack accidentally drops a cylinder on his foot, causing him to yelp, then takes the opportunity to flirt with Caddy. However, she excuses herself, leaving Jack alone. Later, Joey, one of Jack's friends, goes for a medical checkup. The doctor, amazed by Joey's recent recovery from cancer, asks about his current routine, as Joey and his wife celebrate his newfound health. Meanwhile, the residents plan a party for the elderly at the resort, where everyone enjoys themselves. At work on the boat's engine, Jack notices a small hole through which he can see Caddy changing clothes. Shockingly, he realizes she's removing her skin, revealing a bright, glowing alien form. Terrified, Jack rushes around, shouting and wielding a fire extinguisher, begging them not to harm him. Walter, his friend, tries to calm him down and finally confesses that he, too, is an alien. Walter explains that they are Antareans, aliens from the planet Antaria who discovered Earth 10,000 years ago. They originally settled in Atlantis, but left, accidentally stranding some crew members. They've returned now to retrieve those members who have been living in the ocean ever since. Walter reassures Jack that they mean no harm and asks him to keep it a secret. Back at the resort, the elderly residents continue their rejuvenating swims. Barney, however, is hesitant, noticing the peculiar stones in the water, and refuses to join. Later, tourists arrive and begin placing more glowing rocks into the pool, a sight that astonishes the elders. Walter reveals his true form, transferring energy to the stones and further revealing the alien identities of everyone present. Fearful, the elders report the aliens to security, but their claims are brushed off as signs of senility. The aliens smoothly deflect suspicion from the police, who leave without further investigation. Over the following days, Joey's health declines without the pool's rejuvenating powers, prompting Ben to approach Walter and plead for access to the water for Joey's sake. Walter, moved by Ben's request, allows it, and soon the friends and their wives return to bathe. Afterward, Ben's eyesight dramatically improves, to the amazement of his doctor, and he resumes an active life, even driving. The elders celebrate their vitality, enjoying nightlife, dancing, shopping, and daring activities. Ben's wife even climbs a tree, surprising a friend who later questions Ben, who humorously dismisses it as her childhood habit. Meanwhile, Jack attempts a romantic approach with Caddy, but she explains that Antarian romance differs from human customs. She enters the pool, giving Jack a bit of her energy, creating an otherworldly bond between them. Later, Joey, feeling invincible, boasts about his luck but gets a warning from Ben to keep his powers low-key. However, he continues to act out, even charming a young woman on the street. His wife, Alma, eventually catches on, confronting him angrily when he returns home. Joey, facing her fury, realizes his powers have brought unexpected consequences. The next day, Bernie tries talking to Joy again, but she gets angry and walks off. Around this time, we see Bernie's wife start to fall ill. Bernie keeps bringing it up, and Joy eventually snaps at him, saying he should just go bathe in the resort's water to feel better. Bernie gets upset, leading to an argument between them. Soon, the rest of the elderly home residents discover the water's secret. Realizing the water is the source of this strange vitality, everyone rushes to the resort and jumps into the pool, playing around like kids. They even start taking out and breaking some of the rocks from the water. Then, Walter arrives, yelling at them and warning them that the police are on their way. He forces everyone out of the pool. Over time, Walter's team carefully examines the broken rocks and realizes they are cocoons. The aliens who had been left on Earth had been living in these cocoons, and breaking them had drained the energy they provided. One of the aliens has even died from losing its power. Walter angrily tells his sister that he trusted her with the water, only to see it misused. The residents feel guilty and apologize before leaving. Tragically, Bernie's wife Rose becomes seriously ill, and despite his efforts, she passes away. Devastated, Bernie takes her body to the resort pool, desperately pleading for her to wake up. Walter arrives, explaining that the water's power has run dry and can't help anymore. Bernie returns to the home, heartbroken, as the others sadly follow, carrying Rose's body. Walter's sister apologizes to him, and he forgives her, recognizing that they didn't mean harm. She asks if his mission is complete, but he reveals that 2 of the 20 cocoons have been lost, and the rest of the aliens are too weak to survive the trip home. He decides they'll put the cocoons back in the sea, but it must be done quickly if the aliens are to survive. The residents, still energized, offer to help, and together they return the cocoons to their place in the water. As they're finishing, Walter offers them a choice. He explains there is space on the spaceship for 30 more people. If they want, they can come along, stay young forever, and never die. Everyone considers this offer, though Bernie declines, saying he can't leave his wife. The others prepare to leave. The next day, Walter's sister tells her grandson David that they're leaving for good. David asks where they're going, but she keeps it vague, only saying goodbye. Arthur, one of the residents, even gives away all his savings, knowing he won't need it. He convinces Joy and Alma to join, saying he doesn't want to live out his last months on Earth, when he could be young and happy forever. They all decide to go, secretly packing their bags and slipping away at night, while the guards are asleep. David realizes what's happening, feeling sad as he watches the sky. His mom, Susan, notices his mood, and he tells her he won't see his grandparents again. Sensing something strange, she rushes to the old age home. Meanwhile, everyone boards a boat in high spirits. Bernie even comes to see them off, but he still refuses to join, choosing to stay with his wife's memory. When Susan arrives and finds the rooms empty, she calls the police. David then spots the boat and runs to it, managing to jump aboard and hug his grandfather one last time. Soon, police boats and helicopters arrive, ordering them to stop. Walter tells the driver, Jack, to head for the planned location as fast as he can. David's mom watches as he waves goodbye and leaps off the boat, trusting they're going somewhere special. The police manage to rescue David as he swims back, while the boat, cloaked in thick fog, escapes. In the open sea, a massive spaceship appears and hovers over them, shrouded in mist. The ship gently lifts the boat, and Walter thanks Jack, giving him payment before transferring onto a small boat to return to Earth. The spaceship gradually disappears with the boat inside. Later, family members hold a memorial, thinking their loved ones have drowned. But David, looking at the moon, knows exactly where they've gone, smiling up at the sky. The movie closes with this bittersweet ending, leaving us with a sense of wonder and mystery.